Morocco secured their spot in the 2026 World Cup as the first African nation to do so. But who will join them this coming match day as we head into match day number 8? We can take a little look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It is match number 8 in the World Cup qualifiers over in Africa, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe. You want to for Blackburn Rovers, World Cup qualifiers, World Cup itself, that's right, all here under one Ruski. That's right, Morocco sealed the deal. There, of course, will be their next campaign. We expected that, didn't we? But who will join them in the World Cup? We can get a little bit more confirmations this coming match day. We'll get into all of that and more in a second. If you're new, where you been, hit the old subscribe, and a big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. But what we're going to do now is revisit the last round of games. Busy schedule, of course, over in Africa, and then look forward to the next weekend's drama, or the next bit of drama. So sit tight, hold on. Let's get into it. Alrighty then, folks, let's take a look back at, of course, the last round of games over in Africa. A busy week it was, and these were the results. That's right. My predictions on the right-hand side, the real deal was on the left. Eritrea did not play Zambia. It was postponed, not even going to happen, of course. Eritrea withdrew themselves from qualification, but it would have went with a 1-0 away win for Zambia. Anyway, meanwhile, Gabon did beat Seychelles 4-0. That was a real scoreline there with a 2-0 win. Guinea-Bissau and Sierra Leone did duke it out to a 1-1 scoreline, just like I predicted there. Cape Verde with a cheeky 2-0 win away to Mauritius. Libya picking up an away win over Angola. Goodness gracious me. Cameroon 3-0 winners over Eswatini. I went with a 3-1 win. Algeria with a 3-1 win over Botswana. I went with a 2-0 win myself. Sao Tome, Principal, they of course picked up a loss against Equatorial Guinea. I went with a draw. Tunisia did beat Libya 3-0. I went with a 2-0 win. Chad did pick up a draw against Ghana 1-1. I went with a 1-0 away win. Madagascar with a 2-0 win over Central African Republic. Draw for me. Mali with a 3-0 win over Comoros. 2-0 winners it was in my eyes. Burkina Faso with a 6-0 demolition job of Djibouti. I just went with a 2-0 win. Egypt, 2-0 winners over Ethiopia, 3-0 in my eyes. Democratic Republic of Congo with a 4-1 win over South Sudan. I went just with the 2-1 win. Not too shabby though in my eyes. Mauritania did pick up a 2-0 win over Togo. I went the other way. Senegal did beat Sudan 2-0. I went with a 3-1. Benin did beat Zimbabwe 1-0. I went with a score draw on that. South Africa, Bafana with a 3-0 win over Lesotho. I went with a 2-0 win myself. Draws all around. Tanzania against Congo in Congo. I went with a 0-0 on that one. Morocco with a 5-0 win over Nigeria. I went with a 4-1 win, of course, securing their fate in the World Cup next season. Kenya did lose to Gambia, shame. I went with a draw on that one. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast with a win over Burundi. I went with a 2-0 win. Guinea did beat Somalia 3-0. I went with a 1-0. Uganda with a 4-0 win over Mozambique. 2-1 winners in my eyes. And, of course, Malawi did beat Namibia 2-1. I went the other way. Now, Nigeria will take on Rwanda today, but I am getting this video out today because time is precious. So we are looking forward to the next round of games. But currently, this is the situation in the qualifiers. Of course, as you see it, Egypt are very close to getting themselves over the line here. What we've got, how many games left? We're heading into match number 8, 9, 10. 3 games left. So there's 9 points available. So still got a bit of work to secure their deal. But they're in the driving seat in Group A. Burkina Faso also in good spots. Between those two, I would imagine DR Congo and Senegal do get out for a space in the World Cup. In Group B, it looks like South Sudan or Sudan. Keeping an eye on it, but I doubt they're going to get into it this time around. Bafana look good right now. 5 points clear over Benin. Nigeria got a lot of work to do, and it could be a World Cup without Nigeria at the moment. When you look at that, a lot of draws, too many draws. But they do have 4 games left, which would equate to 12 points, which would put them in, 19 points. It's very close. They might have to duke it out for that runners-up spot in Group C. Cape Verde are in charge in D. Cameroon not too far away either after their latest matches. Meanwhile, Morocco secured their spot. Again, how many points are available there? 2, 4, 5, 5, 10 games, 10 games. 8 points on the agenda. I don't know. They're there. They're qualified somehow, but they are there. Tanzania looking at that second spot right now. Into Group F, Ivory Coast and Gabon right now. Very tight between the two sides. Just 1 point with only 3 games remaining in that group. Meanwhile, Algeria in the driving seat in Group G with Uganda looking at second spot with Mozambique and Guinea. Tunisia in the driving seat in Group H. They've got 5 points, 7 points clear over Namibia. And of course, Liberia, Equatorial Guinea looking at that as well. And finally, Group I, Ghana are looking good right now. Madagascar, Mali, and Comoros duking out. It's tight over in Africa, really is. Currently in the second spots, it looks like this. Gabon, Cameroon, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Madagascar, Namibia, Uganda, Benin, and Tanzania. You need to finish in the top 4 to continue your World Cup qualification adventure. Remember, only one of these second-place teams will make 2026 World Cup. So Got to be finished top 4, and currently it's looking like this. So that's the situation over there in Africa. But we're now looking forward to the next round of games, and these are those. Again, we've got a whole host of games to talk about. I'm not going to do a deep dive into all of them because it'll take me forever. So we're going to give it our best shot. All right then, folks. Central African Republic taking on Comoros this coming match day, coming at you on the 7th of September over in Central African Republic. They played just one time. It was the reverse fixture. It was a 4-2 win for Comoros way back in November 2023. Coming into this, the hosts are winless in the last at least 6 matches, probably even as far back as the last 12 matches. Comoros coming in at you, sitting in 4th place right now in their group, which is Group I, with 1 win in the last 5 matches. Coming into this, Comoros on the back of that 3-0 loss to Mali. Central African Republic losing to Madagascar last time around. And this one's going to be a tight over affair as well. I'm going to go with the 2-1 win for the hosts to give them some points in the bag here to continue their adventures in the World Cup qualifiers. All right then, folks, it's Guinea-Bissau taking on Djibouti, coming at you over in Group A, where they previously played in Djibouti way back in November 2023. It was a 1-0 win for Guinea-Bissau way back when, and they find themselves currently in 4th place in this respective group. Djibouti all the way down into 6th place, just a 1 point for them in this group right here, right now. Coming into this on the back of that 6-0 loss to Burkina Faso. That's the away side there. Guinea-Bissau with a draw against Sierra Leone. This one, they should win this one comfortably. Going to go with a 2-0 win for the hosts on this one. Let's go to Libya then, shall we? They're also actually on the same day, which is the 8th of September, and they're coming into this with just 1 defeat in the last 5 matches over in Group D up against Eswatini, which of course they're not even bloody playing, I don't think. But anyway, no, they are playing. This is over in Group D. They previously played twice, Libya winning both of them, including the reverse fixture 1-0 win it was in Eswatini back in November. Libya also on the back of that 1-0 win over Angola. Eswatini losing to Cameroon in their respective group as well. I'm going to go with a win for Libya to continue their passage into this World Cup qualification phase. Moving forward, we got Congo. That's the Republic of Congo. They are going to be taking on Eswatini or not. This game is not going to go ahead, but if it was to go ahead, I would have went with a 3-1 win for Congo. Zambia, though, they are in action. They're going to be taking on Morocco, who are already there. Of course, coming at you also on the 8th of September over in Group E. Zambia, without a win in at least the last 7 matches, up against Morocco, who've won 6 on the bloody bounce. Played 8 times. Morocco have won 6 of them. There's been 1 draw, and of course the reverse fixture, a 3-1 win in Morocco way back in August. Actually, there was the last, when was this? Back in August 2025. Coming into this, Morocco on the back of that 5-0 win over Nigeria. Zambia losing to Kenya most recently, back in the 17th of August. Going to go in for Morocco in this one, a comfortable one, even though the scoreline doesn't think that. Moving on, we've got Mozambique. They're taking on Botswana. Also on the 8th, they played 6 times to 2008. 4 wins Mozambique, 1 win for Botswana. There's been 1 draw between these two sides over in Group G. Mozambique currently find themselves in 3rd. Botswana are all the way down to 5th, with just 3 points separating the two sides. Mozambique are winners in the last 3. Botswana winners also in the last 3. The previous match between these two sides in Mozambique was actually a 3-1 win in the COSFA Cup Group A, but the reverse fixture was a 3-2 win for Mozambique way back in November 2023. Coming into this, Botswana are on the back of that 3-1 loss to Algeria. Mozambique losing to Uganda most recently. And this one going to the host side. 2-1 win in my eyes. This coming match, let's go to Guinea as they take on Algeria also on the 8th. They played 5 times in 2015. 2 wins apiece. 1 draw between the two sides. Guinea are actually back-to-back games now without a loss. They sit 4th in Group G up against Algeria, who are top with just 1 defeat in the last 6. However, they've also only won once in the last 5, drawing 3 of the last 5 matches. They last played against each other way back in August 2025 as in the African Nations Championship. It was a 1-1 scoreline, but the previous match in this competition, or the qualification phase, was a 3-1 win. A 2-1 win for Guinea. Wait, actually, I'm confused. Yeah, 2-1 winners way back in June 2024. Guinea are on the back of a 3-0 win over Somalia. Algeria with a 3-1 win over Botswana. Tough one, this one. We don't have any odds anywhere here. 2-1 winners. Algeria taking the points. Moving on to Uganda. They're taking on Somalia this coming match day on the 8th of September. They played just the 1 time. The reverse fixture, it was a 1-0 win for Uganda in Somalia back in November 2023. Uganda are 2nd right now in Group G. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Somalia, who haven't won in at least the last 12 matches, including a 3-0 loss last time against Guinea. Uganda with that 4-0 win over Mozambique. I think I've got winners for Uganda on this one. 2-1 win. They could actually compete fight for a spot in the World Cup here. So keep it going, Uganda. Meanwhile, Equatorial Guinea, they're taking on Tunisia. That's right. This is over in Group H, of course. Equatorial Guinea are in 4th with 10 points, just one defeat in the last 5. Up against Tunisia, who have just lost once in the last 4 of the previous 4 matches in that sandwich there. Wins. That's actually in the last 5. They played 10 times in 2012. 3 wins Equatorial Guinea, 6 wins Tunisia. There's been 1 draw. They last played reverse fixture. It was a 1-0 win for Tunisia in Tunisia back in June 2024. And the hosts, Equatorial Guinea, on the back of that 5-goal bonanza. 3-2 winners over Sao Tao Principale most recently, with Tunisia winning against Libya, or Liberia, should we say, in the last match. For this one, though, it's going to go the away side here. 1-0 win. Tunisia are edging close to yet another World Cup. Malawi, they're taking on Liberia as well, coming at you in the 8th of September. This is, of course, over in Group H. Malawi sit 5th right now with 9 points compared to Liberia, who are 3rd with 10 points. Both sides not the best bit of form. 33% form for Liberia, up against Malawi, who are in 25% form. The reverse fixture here in Liberia was a 1-0 win for Malawi way back in November 2023. Malawi also coming into on the back of a win over Namibia. Liberia losing to Tunisia most recently. What are we going to go on this one then? I've got to tell you in just a second here. We're going to go with a win. Oh, no, we're going to go with a draw right down the middle. 1-1 here. Point split, which does everybody no good in their race for a space in the World Cup next year. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Madagascar. They are taking on Chad. That's right. This is over in Group I. Madagascar looking good right now. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. 83% form for them right now. They won the previous 5 out of the last 6. Up against Chad. Bottom of the pile right now, over in Group I, winners in at least the last 13 matches, including the reverse fixture between these two. In Chad, 3-0 winners it was for Madagascar way back in November 2023. Coming into this, Madagascar on the back of that 2-0 win over Central African Republic. Chad picking up that draw, good draw, against Ghana, the Black Stars, over in Group I. This one's going to go with the Madagascar again, 2-1 win. And of course, again, Madagascar not out of the discussion yet for this World Cup qualification race. Meanwhile, Ghana, they're taking on Mali. That's right. What a game that is over in Group I. That's right. Ghana sit top of the pops right now. 16 points for them right now. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Mali, who are in 3rd with 12 points. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. They played each other 10 times since 2009. 5 wins Ghana, 3 wins Mali. There's been 2 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around over in Mali, it was the reverse fixture. 2-1 winners it was for Ghana back in June. Ghana on the back of that 1-1 scoreline against Chad. A couple of points dropped there. And Mali with that 3-0 win over Comoros to really kind of open up this qualification phase here. Going to go with a 2-2 on this one as well, which really doesn't do anything for them. It might even open up the door for Madagascar. Meanwhile, we go to Sierra Leone. They're, of course, coming at you on the 9th of the 9th. That's right, over in Sierra Leone. Of course, they currently find themselves 3rd in Group A. Just 1 win in the last 5. Up against Ethiopia, have won 2 at the last 6. They played twice previously back since 2018, including a win for Ethiopia, nothing for Sierra Leone, and a draw. Now, that draw was the reverse fixture in Ethiopia back in November 2023. Sierra Leone on the back of a draw themselves away to Guinea-Bissau. Ethiopia losing to Egypt, of course, who are runaway leaders in this group. But Sierra Leone going to give them the win here. 2-1 winners at home to Ethiopia. We move on to Burkina Faso. I believe they're taking on Hot Shots Egypt, if I can find that bad boy. There it is. It's coming out on the 9th of the 9th over in Group A as well. Burkina Faso are in 2nd, 14 points for them. They've won 2, lost 2 over the last 4. Up against Egypt, who are unbeaten in at least the last 6. In fact, their stretches all the way back to the last 11. And they played Burkina Faso twice in 2017, winning both of them, including the reverse fixture in Egypt when these 2 sides qualified or played for the qualification zone back in the 6th of the 6th. They play on the 9th and the 9th. They're now playing on the 6th and the 6th, if you know what I mean. Burkina Faso with a 6-0 win over Djibouti last time around. Egypt with a 2-0 win over Ethiopia last time around over in Central African Republic. Egypt will win this one as well. 2-0 winners on the road to keep themselves on track for the World Cup. Next up, Democratic Republic of Congo taking on Senegal. That's over in Group B. That's right, the hosts looking good right now. Top of the pop, 16 points for them. Up against Senegal, who are on 2nd with 15 points to their name, of course. Played twice since 2023. 1-1 for Senegal, nothing of a DR Congo, but there has been a draw. And that draw was the reverse fixture when these 2 sides played in Senegal way back on the 6th of the 6th, 2024. DR Congo in the back of that 4-1 win over South Sudan. Senegal with that 2-0 win over normal Sudan right here, right now. The odds, I've got no odds here, but it's going to be another draw here, which puts DR Congo in a good position to qualify at the expense of Senegal for the World Cup, but still a little bit of stuff to do in that one. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Togo next as they take on Sudan. That's right, that's over in the same group, which is Group B. Togo come into this 5th at the table, 4 points for them, just 1 win in the last 6. up against South Sudan. 3 defeats on the spin. The reverse fixture, a score draw way back in November 2023. Togo on the back of that 2-0 loss to Mauritania. Of course, Sudan losing to Senegal. 2-0 win as well. And this was a tight one, this one. Going to go with a 1-0 win for Togo. They're going to take the points and move up the ladder. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Mauritania. They're going to take it on South Sudan. That's right. That's coming at you also on the 9th of the 9th. These two sides over in Group B. Mauritania find themselves in 4th. They've won 3 in the bouts in all competitions, all sizes, up against South Sudan, who've lost, they're winless in at least the last 4 over the course of various competitions. Played each other 3 times in 2015, 1 for Mauritania, nothing for South Sudan. There's been 2 draws, including the reverse fixture in South Sudan back in November 2023. The hosts, Mauritania, are back at that 2-0 win over Togo to give themselves some hope. South Sudan losing to DR Congo. I think they're lost at sea. I think they're both kind of not going to make it, are they, on this one? But I'm going to go with the hosts on this one. 2-1 win, Mauritania, adding points to the pie and see what they can do with that win. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe taking on Rwanda, coming at you on the 9th of the 9th as well. As over in Group C, Zimbabwe are in 6th right now, just 4 points for them. Just 1 win in the last 6. Up against Rwanda, who are 3rd with 8 points. And they played twice since 2005, including the reverse fixture in Rwanda, which was a 0-0 scoreline back in November 2023. Zimbabwe on the back of that 1-0 loss to Benin. Rwanda's last match was a loss against Algeria. It's actually been back-to-back losses against Algeria in the summer. This one's going to go with Zimbabwe on this one. 1-0 winners. I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm going to go with it and see what comes out in the wash. Meanwhile, we're going to go to South Africa, Bafana, as they take on Nigeria. What a game that is over in Group C. South Africa looking good right now. 16 points for them. They're unbeaten in at least the last 5. Up against Nigeria, the Super Eagles, who've got work to do. They need to beat these guys. Just 1 win in the last 4 for them. They played 13 times in 2004. 7 wins Nigeria, 1 win for South Africa. There's been 5 draws between the two sides, including the reverse fixture in Nigeria, 1-1 way back in June 2024. Bafana on the back of that 3-0 win over Lesotho. Nigeria with a 2-0 win over Congo, but that was back in August. It was a long time ago, that. This one's tight. Gonna go with a draw here. 2-2 again, goals galore, which again doesn't really boost Nigeria's hopes to qualify here, and it might go to the bitter end for them. Meanwhile, Benin taking on Lesotho. That's coming at you over in on the 9th of the 9th as well. I'm lost my place on this one. Benin, of course, trying to keep themselves going, keep the momentum moving. They currently find themselves in 2nd spot with 11 points. This is over in Group C, up against Lesotho, who are 5th with 6 points. They played 3 times since 2020. 1 win for Benin, nothing for Lesotho. There's been 2 draws, including the reverse fixture, a 0-0 back in November. It's actually been back-to-back 0-0s between these two sides. Lesotho have not scored against Benin in the last 3. And they're also coming into this, haven't scored in the last 3 competitive matches. So they're looking for goals. Up against Benin, who picked up a 1-0 win over Zimbabwe. Going to go with a Benin victory here, 2-1 winners as well, to give themselves an outside shot to qualify as well for the World Cup. Meanwhile, Cape Verde taking on Cameroon. That's right, coming at you on the 9th of the 9th. This is over in Group D. Cape Verde are top of the pops right now, 16 points for them. They're unbeaten in the last 5. Up against Cameroon, who are 2nd. They're on 15 points. They're unbeaten in the last 6. They played 6 times to 2008. 3 wins Cameroon, 1 win for Cape Verde. There's been 2 draws. They last played in Cameroon, 4-1 winners it was back in June 2024. Cameroon are on the back of that 3-0 win over Eswatini, up against Cape Verde on the back of that 2-0 win over Mauritius. It's got to be a Cameroon victory here, but I've gone with a draw, which again doesn't help. It's up a bit of a problem for Cameroon, as Cape Verde will be in command. That's right, heading into the last international break in October. Meanwhile, we go. Is it the last one, or maybe there's one in November? Meanwhile, Angola, they're taking on Mauritius. That's right, coming at you over in Angola. This is over in Group D. Angola find themselves in 4th right now, just 1 win in the last 5. Mauritius winless in at least the last 9 matches. They are 5th with 5 points to their name. They played 5 times as well since 2016. 2 wins apiece and 1 draw. That 1 draw was the reverse fixture back in November 2023. Mauritius are on the back of that 2-0 loss to Cape Verde. They haven't scored a goal in the last 4. Up against Angola on the back of a 2-0 loss, sorry, 1-0 loss to Libya. Again, back-to-back defeats for them, and not looking good for Angola at the moment. But I'm going to give them the victory on this one. I have 2-1 winners for Angola to give themselves some outside chances here to gate crash. Meanwhile, we're going to go Tanzania next. They take on Nigeria on the 9th of the 9th. Of course, coming at you over in Group E. Tanzania are in 2nd with 10 points for their name. Winless over the last 3 matches. Up against Nigeria, also winless, but they're winless in the last 5. But they played each other 3 times in 2022. 2 wins Tanzania, nothing with Nigeria. There's been 1 draw between these two sides. They last played in Nigeria. 1-0 win as it was for Tanzania back in November 2023. The hosts, Tanzania, on the back of that score draw against Congo, against Nigeria, who got their butts whooped against Morocco, 5-0, and they haven't scored a goal in at least the last 5 matches, so they're looking pretty toothless at the moment. They're going to lose this one as well. Tanzania picking up a big win to continue their dreams, of course, for World Cup into it. Some nations could be making the World Cup for the first time, and I'm excited all it. But one of those will not be my boys, Kenya, but they're going to be taking on Seychelles this coming match day over the 9th of the 9th. They're not eliminated yet, but they've got a massive mountain to climb if they're going to do it. Back-to-back defeats for Kenya over in Group F up against the Seychelles, who've lost 5 on the bounce. They played 3 times to 2011, 3 wins out of 3 for Kenya, including a 5-0 win last time they played in November 2023 in the Seychelles in the reverse fixture. Kenya on the back of that 3-1 loss to Gambia up against the Seychelles, who lost to Gabon, and again haven't scored in the last 3 matches. So Kenya will win this one 2-0. It might be more than that, but I think it's too little too late for my boys over in Kenya. Meanwhile, we're going to go Gabon up against Ivory Coast. That's right, Gabon. This is a big game, actually, over in Group F. Gabon sits second with 18 points up against Ivory Coast, who are top with 19 points. They played 6 times in 2015, 1 with Gabon, 4 with Ivory Coast, and 1 draw between the two sides. The reverse fixture, a 1-0 win for Ivory Coast back in June 2024. The hosts are on the back of that 4-0 win over Seychelles, with Ivory Coast just picking up a 1-0 win over Burundi last time around. This one's tight. Going to go with a 2-1 win upset, potentially, for Gabon. Again, putting this group on its head, heading into the final couple of matches. Gambia, they're taking on Burundi. Also, this coming match day on the 9th of the 9th. Where are you? Gambia against Burundi. They are over in Group F. Gambia sit 4th right now with 7 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 5 up against Burundi. 2 wins in the last 3, but they played each other way back in 2023. And it was a 3-2 win for Burundi. Goodness gracious me. The hosts are on the back of a 3-1 win over my boys Kenya. Burundi on the back of that 1-0 loss to Ivory Coast. We're going to go with a tight one on this one. We're going to go with the 1-0 win for Gambia to take the points. And then finally is another one I keep an eye on. It's Namibia. And I can't find them on my list here, so we're gonna try and do a deep dive here. Namibia, where are you, fellas? Of course, taking on Sao Tao and Principale. There we go. This, of course, coming at you on the 9th of the 9th. It's Group H. Namibia find themselves in second spot, around 12 points for them. Just 1 win, though, in the last 5. Up against Sao Tao Principale, who are 6, no points to the name. They've lost 5 on the bounce. The previous match, way back in November 2023, was a 2-0 win for Namibia, who come into this on the back of that 2-1 loss to Malawi. Up against Sao Tao Principale, who did have a goal fest against Equatorial Guinea, but they did lose in that match. And I do think they'll lose this one as well. 2-1 winners for Namibia to take the 3 points and, again, move the bloody chains. Those are my predictions, of course, over in Africa. Make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. Of course, your non-stop shop for content, including African qualifiers, is here. Of course, subscribe. We'll see you soon when we return and bring you an update with the situation over in Africa. But until then, we're done.